What is up, guys? Welcome to the bet breakdown for UFC London. I do have 5 bets as of now, looking to add a couple more, just waiting on the line movement. This is a weird week where, typically I want to be first, but this week I kind of want to be last in getting some of these better lines on line movement. I completely disagree with, and we'll talk about some of those, but let's get right into it. We have a couple things to break down. Let's start with the parlay, and yeah, I've been trying to stay away from the parlays this year. And we're working out a ton, but man, I really do think this is a solid parlay card, a solid amount of parlay pieces on this card. And, this is one that really stuck out to me, and I figured that this parlay is going to close over minus 200, so might as well get it now. And I think I got it on Sunday or Monday, but I have Mokaev parlayed with Pimblett. I got it at minus 162. I have 2 units on it. That line is, surpassed minus 200 now, I think, on BetOnline right now. That's minus 210, so feels good beating some line movement, but again, I'm not a big fan of parlays, but I do like this one. Muhammad Mokaev, this guy is 5-0 in pro, 23-0 in amateur, and I was able to watch a good amount of fights of this guy. Most of them amateur, but this guy brings a lot of things to the table that I really like, and a couple things are the relentless wrestling, and then most importantly, especially in this fight, is going to be the unbelievable cardio. This guy can go a hard 3 rounds. Absolutely no problem. I really like his top control when he gets opponents down. They don't really get up. His grappling's solid. I don't think he's the best finisher in the world, but I do think he has the tools to win this fight here. Cody Durden. The thing with Durden is this guy's a solid wrestler, solid striker, just solid all around. The problem with Durden is he has about 1 round of gas. And I just don't think he's going to be able to keep up with Mokaev here. I think Mokaev, at least early on, this fight should be competitive, but I think in the second round, the third round, Mokaev, definitely takes over. He's starting to win a lot of these wrestling exchanges. He gets on top of a Cody Durden and probably eventually finishes him late in the fight or wins a decision here. Again, I think the first round is going to be close and competitive, but Durden just slows down so much as the fight goes on, where Mokaev is not going to slow down. So I like Mokaev here as a parlay piece. I parlayed him up at minus 330. He's currently, I believe, minus 400 now. Other part to this parlay is going to be Paddy Pimblett. I parlayed him at minus 410, and he is now like minus 550. And yeah, this is just a very good matchup for Paddy Pimblett here. Vargas, there's some things I have not liked in terms of the ground game, and I think Paddy's going to have a legit path to victory of taking down Vargas. And once Vargas does get taken down, which he gets taken down very easily, he just doesn't get up. His get-up game is non-existent. He's content to just throw up submissions off his back, and that's not going to work against a legit black belt in Paddy Pimblett here. I think Paddy Pimblett has multiple paths to victory, and on top of that, Vargas, he's 36 years old, 36 and a half. Never been impressed with the guy. The guy's probably not UFC caliber, and I know a lot of people are looking to fade Pimblett, and I can tell you now, this is probably not the fight to do so. I think it's a good spot for Pimblett here. I just don't even know a path to victory for Vargas. I guess it's going to have to be a knockout. And, as we've seen in his last fight, especially, Paddy Pimblett has a very, very good chin. So, yeah, I like Pimblett here. I think he's a safe parlay piece. He's getting up to, like, minus 250 or minus 450. I think, like minus 500 at this point as well. And I just can't make an argument for Vargas here. So, give me Paddy Pimblett to close out that parlay. 2 units, minus 161. All right, next I do have 2 plays here. I have Corey McKenna, and I bet this a couple weeks ago. I got her at minus 200. She's now minus 245, 250 around there. And yeah, I really like McKenna in this spot. I also took a quarter unit shot on the submission prop at plus 700. I think she submits Elise Reed. I think the striking is very close and competitive. You had the power of Reed. I like the volume, the movement of McKenna as well, but if this fight hits the mat, I think McKenna is going to have a massive advantage. She's out-grappled fighters like Kay Hansen and, fighters like Vanessa Demopoulos and Elise Reed, white belt and BJJ. I've seen her put in some very bad spots on the mat, not just the Eubanks fights, but in the Jazz DeVicious fight and a couple other fights. Like, she's very close to getting finished on the mat, getting put into deep submissions against lower-level fighters. And if McKenna gets on top, if McKenna gets this fight down to the mat, I think McKenna submits Elise Reed early on. I think it's a good matchup for McKenna. We've not seen her in over a year. She's very young, training with some of the best female fighters in the world. Fighters like Yan Xiaonan, fighters like Verna Jandiroba, fighters like Sarah McMahon, Macy Barber, training with very, very good fighters. I honestly think she smokes Elise Reed here. But at the end of the day, this is women's MMA. You can't be overly confident, but McKenna should take down Reed and just have her way with her on the mat. So give me McKenna by submission, 2 units, minus 200 on the money line, and then a quarter unit plus 700 by submission. All right, this is my biggest play of the night. I have 2.5 units on the fight doesn't go to decision. Krylov Craig minus 186. And I feel like I should be going even heavier on it. This line makes no sense to me. In a 55 fight sample, which is a very big sample, Krylov has a 97% finish rate. 97%. This guy's an absolute finisher. His first 11 UFC fights finished. His last 3 have been to decision. That's why we're getting a line like that. He did not finish Magomed Ankalaev. He did not finish Glover Teixeira. And then he did not finish Johnny Walker. I think he finishes Paul Craig. Paul Craig has never won by decision, 100% finish rate. And Paul Craig's never lost by decision. Paul Craig's been knocked out 3 times, submitted once. I think Krylov probably knocks out Paul Craig on the feet, but if this fight does hit the mat, which I kind of have a feeling it will, Craig's absolutely going to be live for a submission. Krylov has been submitted 5 times in his career, 3 or 4 in the UFC, and this is how I look at it. I mean, Krylov, 97% finish rate, Paul Craig, a 100% finish rate. Those are in their wins. So that is a combined, let's do the math here, 42, combined 42 wins. 41 of them have been won inside the distance. Like, that's a big sample size. And then we'll take a look at their losses. 12 losses, and looks like 12 losses and 10 of them inside. Yeah, 10 of them inside the distance. 10 of them inside the distance. So they're both winning inside the distance. They're both losing inside the distance. Minus 186. It just doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, it could go to decision. Anything can happen, but my goodness, I got to take advantage of that line. So 2.5 units, biggest play of the night. Krylov Craig fight doesn't go to decision. And then this is going to be something I'm adding on later in the week. Money's still coming in on the fight goes to decision here. But I do have a small poke right now on Volkov to win by decision at plus 500. And the reason being, I think if it goes to decision, I think that line's kind of nuts, first of all. And I think if it goes to decision, Volkov probably does win it. But what I'm more interested in is going to be the fight doesn't go to decision. Money's still pouring in on the fight goes, and it doesn't make much sense. It's a 5-round fight, heavyweight fight. Tom Aspinall's never been to decision, win or loss. Tom Aspinall's never been to a 3rd round. Tom Aspinall's 0-2 in fights that do go over 1.5 rounds. Volkov, especially thick Volkov, has a ton of power as well. We've seen him knock out Overeem, Walt Harris, and I think he could knock out a tired Aspinall if this fight does get extended. And I also think Aspinall's potentially live for a finish, to finish Volkov early as well. So I think it's kind of Aspinall early, Volkov late here, but the fight doesn't go at minus 175, just makes no sense to me. And money's still coming in on it. So if I can get better than minus 175, I absolutely will. And then I have the Volkov decision at quarter unit plus 500 as kind of a hedge, because what I really want is that fight doesn't go. But if it does go to decision, I think it's Volkov pretty cleanly there. But yeah, I think his fight finishes more often than not. All right, that is about it. Not a ton to talk about. I mean, I'm still waiting on some money lines. Lines to move. Still waiting on the fight doesn't go to move as well. But I have Corey McKenna 2 units minus 200. A quarter unit on the submission plus 700. I have 2 units on the parlay with Mokaev and Pimblett minus 161. 2.5 units on the Craig Krylov fight doesn't go. And then a quarter unit on Volkov by decision. But like I said, I'm going to be adding a lot to the fight doesn't go in the main event one way or another. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Let's keep killing it. And yeah, not my favorite week in the world for betting. I think there's a lot of chalky spots that I'm trying to stay away from this year, but I think a lot of these spots do hit. So we'll see what happens there. So yeah, that's about it, guys, and good luck for UFC London.